Strange things are afoot at the Circle K.
That kid is back on the escalator again.
Ain't gonna hurt.
Here's my boomstick!
Game over, man. It's game over.
Welcome to the Bargain Bin. He is your host, Ben Mason.
And he is your co-host, Sandro Luketic. And today we're talking 1995's Johnny Mnemonic. We assume if you're listening to this episode, you have already seen the movie. And you've had 27 years to watch it. So I hope you have.
Come on, man. Every movie we do, people have had multiple years to watch.
Oh, yeah. You're right.
I mean, there's a couple.
Get your shit together, audience.
Like when we did Fat Man, I think that was only a couple years old at the time. But
Perfect.
We're doing a lot of 80s and 90s movies. Yes.
Okay, so
they've had plenty of time to watch
We're
the
in
movies.
agreement. Other than one time, you should have seen all of these.
I mean, I definitely agree. As I've told people numerous times to follow us on Twitter, at BS Bargain Bin, I post the weekend beforehand, giving people plenty of time before the episode goes live on Thursday to watch the movie.
So this is out of our hands.
Yes, exactly.
I take no blame.
Anyway,
I will shift the blame onto director Robert Longo's only film, which is Johnny Mnemonic.
I'm not sure why you would do that, although I'm very impressed with how well you say that title of that movie.
What, Mnemonic?
Mnemonic.
Johnny Meniscus.
I'm messing around. So, I've been doing this lately to you, and I'm going to do it again. To my recollection, we've done movies that have included 3 actors from this film.
Okay.
What are those past episodes and actors?
Whoa. So 3?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it might be more, but I don't look at like every minor character.
All right. 3 actors we've covered already. Obviously, Johnny Mnemonic himself, Keanu Reeves in Youngblood.
Correct.
Dolph Lundgren in 3 movies. 3 movies?
Yeah. He's
3 movies.
Slowly becoming like the MVP of our show.
This is okay. He's putting Dick Miller on the run. He's putting him on his heels. It's not Ice-T. It's not Dina Meyer. Henry Rollins? No. Not Udo. I don't know. Who's the third?
You did this the exact same way last time. You said the person's name and you're like, no. Yes, Henry Rollins was in The Chase.
The Chase! I forgot about that. Much like everybody who listens to this show.
Played a completely different character in that one.
Yeah, this is very out of sorts for him. I don't think I've ever seen him play a character like this before, but I dug him in this role.
Yeah, oh yeah. I gotta say though, you mentioned Udo...
Udo Kier?
You know I can't pronounce things. I wish we did more of his movies. This guy's great.
No, you don't. Udo Kier is a creepy man.
I mean, if you cast him in a role as a creepy character, then that's perfect.
Well, yeah. And I mean, that's pretty much what he does. Okay, if you want to, man, I'll hit you with some Udo Kier movies, but you're gonna hate me for it.
I say these things in passing. Don't hold me to it because, you know, I make a statement without actually researching it or looking at his list.
Well, as we've already established, my memory is shit, so I've already written it down on a notepad here.
Oh,
you can thank me later.
Right. Well, let's talk about Johnny M.
All right. Honestly, it's based off a short story by William Gibson, who also wrote Neuromancer, but wrote the screenplay for this movie too, which I find horrifying. But a lot of people consider him the father of cyberpunk, and I never really thought about Johnny Mnemonic as a cyberpunk movie, and I don't know why, because that's 100% what it is. We've never really covered cyberpunk here before, right?
I don't think so.
No, I don't think so. And I can tell you right now, we're never going to cover Blade Runner because fuck that. But I don't know. This is a movie where before I even watched it the very first time in 95, I read the movie novelization, which is an expanded version of the short story written by someone else. And I loved it. So I went into this movie fully expecting to enjoy it as much as I enjoyed the book. Keep in mind, I was 13. And at 13-year-old me, really did. So let's get into the plot and find out if 39-year-old me still agrees.
Man, you're dumb.
Shut up.
Okay.
Now, this movie starts with a massive exposition dump. A giant text crawl, which I am going to read because it sets up our conversations for the rest of the movie.
Before you read it, can I just stress, as I've done many times before, that I hate this as a way to start movies?
Yeah, I agree. You don't really need it. You just need a few lines of dialogue to convey the same thing. But this is how the movie starts. Second decade of the 21st century. Corporations rule. The world is threatened by a new plague, NAS, nerve attenuation syndrome. Fatal, epidemic, its cause and cure unknown. The corporations are opposed by the low-techs, stupid fucking name, a resistance movement risen from the streets, hackers, data pirates, guerrilla fighters, and the info wars. The corporations defend themselves. They hire the Yakuza, the most powerful of all crime syndicates. They sheath their data in black ice, lethal viruses waiting to burn the brains of intruders. But the low-techs wait in their strongholds, in the old city cores, like rats in the walls of the world. The most valuable information must sometimes be entrusted to mnemonic couriers, elite agents who smuggle data in wet-wired brain implants. That's fucking dense, man.
It is. Don't start a movie like this.
Yeah, don't. It's too much. You're in for some visual enjoyment. Like a cyberpunk movie, you're going to love what you see on screen. Then you just smash people over the head with like, we can't figure out how to tell you this any other way, which really kind of sets up expectations of disappointment. But it's nowhere near as disappointing as the classic hacker style shot of the internet we get. But
What?
This time in 2021.
Oh, it's fantastic. This is how the internet looks if you go inside of it.
I never got that, man. I never got why they would do that. It never looks good. And it just makes you feel like you made a poor choice by watching the movie. And I get it. Yeah, whatever. It's 1995. So what? They do this in a lot of cyber films, and it never looks right. And you have to fucking know that it's not going to age well.
Do you want me to go into this now?
Yes, I do, because William Gibson's writing is fantastic. His books are great, and I will argue that, yes, while set in certain periods, they are timeless. It just doesn't translate in this movie. So please, share your mind.
I've done this multiple times. I think even on this podcast. Don't use real terminology and real things that you think are going to be like technologically advanced in the future, because that's how you date yourself.
Yes.
Make up something new. I get it. Back then, 80 gigs was a lot. But if you don't understand the flow of technology, then you shouldn't be using it, because you know that things are going to perpetually get bigger and faster and just more dense. We're walking around with 1 terabyte USB sticks.
Mm-hmm.
What you do, and I think I talked about this when we were talking about hackers as well, not that we reviewed the movie, but we talked about it for some reason. Make up your own shit. You can't date yourself if you say that it's something like cranial units, because that's not a real thing. We can't then later go and be like, oh man, only 80 cranial units? Because that's not a thing.
Yeah.
Also,
make shit up.
Also, this movie is set in 2021.
Mm-hmm.
The beginning of the text crawl says the second decade of the 21st century.
Yeah, we're in the third.
Yeah.
We're off to a great start, man. The movie's fantastic.
One's not even dating yourself. That's just not knowing that, the 21st year is the third decade.
Yep. Well done, Billy Gibson. Get into the plot now?
Yeah, I thought we were. We started with the text crawl.
Yeah, that's...
That's plot.
But we meet
It's not
Johnny,
well delivered, but it's plot.
played by Keanu Reeves, and some random woman that he slept with the night before. And Johnny reveals he doesn't remember where he's from. This is a weird conversation that does not fit. Although it follows suit with the text crawl that is jumbled as fuck and the mishap of getting the decade wrong. And what's with the woman saying she has to go get ice? And he points out they have ice. So she just leaves.
So this doesn't make any sense.
Is that her exit? Like, was it a bad time? She's like, I need to get the fuck out of here?
Yeah. But later on, it's revealed in one of his rants that she's a prostitute.
Was it? I guess.
I mean, that's
you
the
can,
implication.
You can interpret it that way, for sure.
Yes. If that's the case, you paid her money. She did her part. She has no obligation to stay now.
That does make sense. But it's a weird throwaway then, because if that's the one reference to it is almost at the very end of the movie, it's pointless.
I don't think that's
the scene doesn't need to happen. He can wake up and just talk to Ralphie. She doesn't need to be there at all.
No, but it's someone to talk to, I guess.
Yeah, I guess it does kind of reinforce his... Okay, there's something about Johnny that I've picked up on that nobody else really seems to be talking about online, and how lonely he is. It's never directly addressed in the movie, but that really worked for me, was her leaving to go get ice, and he's like, we have ice. And then the door closes, and it's just him.
I don't know if anybody's talking about it, but it's definitely clear. I mean, he has no memories of the past.
Yeah.
He's clearly got no ties to any people or places.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that's why I never even thought about the woman being a sex worker. I thought they had like a one-night stand, and she's like, I'm good. I'm out of here.
I just literally inferred it from his rant later when he says I should be with $20,000 a night prostitutes.
It's $10,000. I have that entire thing to cover later.
Okay, sorry. I'm going off the top of my head. Excuse the dollar amount. I mean, hey, inflation. Maybe now it's... wait, no. It was 2021.
It's only a year.
Ah.
What kind of inflation are you thinking?
This movie was not made in 2021.
I know.
Just poorly tried to represent 2021.
Johnny talks to his agent Ralphie, played by your favorite actor Udo Kier, about getting his implant out and recovering his memories, but the price has gone up. Fine. Udo Kier, let's talk Udo Kier. The man looks like a lizard.
Yeah, he should have played Bowser in Super Mario Brothers.
Oh my God, he really should have. You're right. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love Dennis Hopper, but he is no Bowser material. Udo Kier would have been perfect.
Yeah.
Not as explosive with personality, but yeah, he looks the part. I do like how next we get a really nightmarish scene of the streets of central Beijing with all of the protesters rioting over NAS. I thought it looked absolutely fantastic and definitely set the scene for me of like a dystopian, technologically advanced future. That for me, I didn't need the text crawl. Show me that people protesting over this disease en masse. We already see all the tech around, and all that would suck me in right there. Don't hit me with that wall.
I know it's pretty cliche, but you do one of these scenes with like a news report in like a store window or on a screen, like, you know, in a square or something, where they're talking about like the increased number of cases of Wait, what's the abbreviation?
NAS.
You know what I mean? Like, yes, it's very typical, it's very cliche, but it's indirectly telling you this story and not inundating you with a text crawl at the beginning.
And that's a very good point, because Johnny's smuggling meeting is in a posh hotel where we get the TV news report following it up again. That's 3 times in a few minutes where they're just hitting us with the information. We only need it once. We get it.
Yeah. You and I have very different trains of thought when we see him walking through this dystopia in Beijing, though.
Why? What do you think?
Well, I'm watching the movie, and my first thought is, why do these couriers that need to blend in always wear suits?
It's 2021, Sandro. You gotta look good.
Yeah, but you're carrying dangerous information. How about just wearing, like, regular clothes that will let you blend in?
Can you imagine the entire movie he's wearing, like, sweatpants and a tank?
I'd like it better.
Really? I wouldn't. He looks sharp in a suit, my friend.
Yes, he does. But I'm just talking about the plot of the movie. I mean, at one point, he completely eludes his attackers, which we'll talk about very shortly, but just putting on a coat and hat because nobody's looking for the guy who's not in a suit.
Your problem is the realism or lack thereof in this movie?
Yes.
The fuck, man? Take a step back and look at that problem.
Hey, man, I'm allowed to think what I think. And I'm just saying, that's what came to my mind.
You voice it frequently.
Okay, and you know what? If he starts in a suit, that's one thing. But later on, when he's on the run, throw on some other clothes. Disguise yourself.
Okay, I get that too, because his suit gets real messed up. And I'm like, kind of stand out a little bit more now.
Easily, when you start to blend in with the low-techs and have them helping you, throw on some junky clothes.
Oh, the fucking low-techs. I hate that name. And they're all idiots. I don't get it. But speaking of them, they hack that TV news report I was talking about. Very, very briefly, the news team apologizes for it. They regain control. But this allows us to follow Johnny into the elevator, where he doubles his storage capacity to 160 gigabytes with a warning not to exceed that capacity. How does that work?
Johnny's an idiot.
Yeah. Caught me off guard. I agree. But yeah, it's just, I don't understand why he would agree to do this job because, okay, we'll just say right now, the storage, like the files that he stores is 4 times the size of his regular storage capacity. So he must know that going in, right? Yeah.
And even before he's sent in, Ralphie asks him, did you get the upgrade? He clearly lies and says yes.
Yeah.
And it's, if he said no, and it's like, oh, well, I guess you can't do the job. Movie's over.
And I get it. He wants to get the implant out of his head. That's fine. But doing this means you're basically going to kill yourself.
You don't need that.
No.
You don't need the added tension of a ticking time bomb if you don't get it out of your head. You already have the Yakuza chasing after you. You have enough of a fire lit under you.
Yeah, and that's, like you said, that's all you need. You don't need this added bit about storage not being large enough because it just doesn't make sense.
No, it makes the protagonist, who you've only seen for a few minutes now, seem like a moron.
Oh, yeah, well, at least they're thorough and carry that through the rest of the movie. But we get the hotel room scene next, which really sets everything off here. We get the nerdy scientists and their armed thugs. Obviously, they're all very concerned about information they have. And they provide Johnny with a first-class ticket to Newark. I just have here in caps, yay. I hate Newark so much. But why would he...
I sure hope no one from New York's watching this.
Oh, if you're listening to this from Newark, get out of that fucking garbage city. But yeah, Johnny lied about his storage capacity, which you needed 320 gigs. And in 1995, I get it. That's massive. And the reasoning why it's a problem is because of what they call synaptic seepage, which could kill him in 2 to 3 days, and the data would be corrupted. I don't mind that, but it just doesn't make sense. The numbers don't add up. We see Yakuza members led by Shinji, played by Dennis Akiyama, show up in the lobby. And my next note just says, holy shit, mini discs. I forgot those were things. I love those things. They were so ridiculous and pointless and nobody wanted them.
I love how, as we talked about dating ourselves, they show us a technology that lasted for a blip in the decades.
Oh, yeah. Oh, God. I remember mini disc players. Sony pimped those so hard. People were like, yeah, I'll buy this. And then less than a year later, they were just out of production.
Yeah, should have just shown the video footage on a Betamax player.
Hey, now. Betamax is still sweet.
Okay.
I love that the download code for the data that Johnny's putting in his head is taken randomly from 3 TV frames. Honestly, like in a techie movie where shit's not making sense, I think that's really cool. So Johnny gets ready, gets all the jack in his head, gets everything set up with his weird visor thing. And as soon as they hit it and start the download, it looks like he's doing his best Stallone impression.
I mean, he's got a mouth guard in, so he can't properly speak. That sounds very Stallone-ish.
Yeah, and like it, you're right. I didn't think about it, but you're right. The weird thing is, like, I know it's there, and I'm sure it's covered. I just, once the mouthpiece goes in, you don't see it again. And he just has this giant, like, wannabe Busey teeth showing.
Yeah, I think obviously the implied idea here is that it's going to hurt no matter what, even if it's the right amount of data.
Yeah. Okay, perfect. The right amount of data. How do they upload twice the hard drive space?
Cranial seepage, obviously.
But that means the data is a physical thing.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
it came off that disk. What's the difficulty here?
Okay.
I'll tell you one thing. Ain't no mini disk ever hold 300 gigs of data.
I didn't even think about it. This movie is so ridiculous. Oh God. Well, okay, sorry. The Yakuza kill the Pharmacom scientists and their heavies while Johnny hides in the bathroom. And Shinji, the leader of this group of the Yakuza, has a thumb laser rope, which I remember being super cool when I was a kid. And honestly, so many years later, still pretty fucking cool, man.
Johnny plants a motion detector as he comes in. As the Yakuza are approaching, the thing's beeping like crazy. No one hears it. What is the point of a motion detector that no one hears?
Yeah, I don't know. The scene is still really fun, though. Johnny escapes with one of the 3 download images, but the second is in Yakuza possession. One of the Pharmacom scientists burns the third one before they can get it. What are you laughing about?
I completely forgot about my favorite example of dating it. Fax the code.
Oh yeah. I forgot about
fax machines. Will never go out of style.
There is one minor thing about this scene that I missed taking my notes. I had to go back and revise it. I thought Johnny got away with 2 images, and they had the third one.
That was like 1 and a bit, right? Like the second one got slashed.
Yeah, with Shinji's thumb laser thing. I completely missed that. Really minor detail that's pretty big to the plot. And now we travel to my favorite city in the States, the free city of Newark. Homelessness and NAS seem to be running rampant, so it's pretty accurate to today. Cool scene at the airport, though. The scanner that Johnny goes through detects his implant, but it's recognized as a government-approved dyslexia implant.
Loved it. Loved it. That was a piece of subtle storytelling that showed, okay, there is an underground for this. They found ways to mask it. And you didn't need to do it in some sort of stupid text crawl or anything. It was just literally a quick scene, and I thought it was well done.
Yeah, this is Gibson's genius that is sadly lacking for most of this story. It's a really cool idea for the future use of technology, too, because it's, to me, this is believable. I could see that happening at some point in the future. But the scan also informs him that, yes, there is indeed synaptic seepage. Johnny ditches his passport in an incinerator garbage can. Now, is that a good or bad idea? Not ditching the passport, but incinerator garbage cans.
Oh, it's a terrible idea.
Terrible idea.
You know, some little kid is just going to go to like throw their juice box container in the garbage and lose a hand.
I'm just thinking of like they're basically evidence disposal units.
Oh yeah, for that purpose too. Here I am thinking about personal injury.
Yeah, no, I'm thinking like you kill somebody, dump them in the bin.
I mean, yeah, why not?
But in Newark, we have Pharmacom HQ and its owner Takahashi scolding Shinji and demanding he gets the courier's head. But at least we get some character development in this movie where Takahashi's story is his grief over losing his young daughter. Now, they've already set us up to feel more sympathy with a villain than the hero. So, fail on that one.
Yes.
Johnny freaking out about being overloaded and plans a meeting with Ralphie. And Ralphie's at his club. And I don't know about you, man. I don't know if you've even seen the movie, but it feels like this entire setup was ripped off for The Fifth Element.
I mean, I've seen it. I don't remember it.
Okay, it was mainly the opera singer that got me. We meet out-of-work bodyguard Jane, played by Dina Meyer, and scientist friend Spider, Henry Rollins.
You mean two-time bargain bin appearance actor, Henry Rollins.
Rising MVP.
No one's passing Dolph at this point.
No. Jane tries to get Ralphie to hire her, but she's too jacked with implants that she's unreliable.
Except that she beats the shit out of his two bodyguards, so it's like, reliable or not, she gets the job done.
Yeah, I think the issue here is that she's got the implants, so she's fast. But that's it. Like, there's no, like, she can't fight for a prolonged amount of time.
I'm just going to say it now. They did Molly dirty.
How so?
How so? In that, in the book, Molly is badass. In the movie, Jane is a shadow of that character.
You're right. Yeah. Like I said, it's been a long time since I read the book. I forgot about
anybody who hasn't read the book or hasn't in a long time. Molly in the book is way more badass. She has blades under her fingernails. She has reflective eyes, and
I remember those.
In the later parts of the book, she's actually the one that does all the beating of the bad guys.
Yeah, I seem to remember that as well.
Anyway, sorry.
No, that's fine. It's a very good point. Jane has the potential to be an absolutely amazing character, but she's given the short end of the stick in almost every scene she's in.
Yeah,
for no reason. Johnny's cab drops him off in a junkyard, which happens to be next to the Lotex headquarters, and we finally meet J-Bone, played by Ice-T, who's watching from a building above.
He does a lot of watching in this movie.
A lot. This meeting, though, is just a giant setup to cut off Johnny's head and take it to Pharmacom. One of the bald Yakuza members blindly kills J-Bone's friend. And then the next part confuses the shit out of me. J-Bone descends and puts himself in direct danger.
He's not afraid of these guys. These guys are children's play.
Okay. But he only survives that situation because of Johnny. Like, guns drawn on the guy. And yes, I understand that J-Bone has like a slingshot knife wrist attachment thing, which is ridiculous. But the guy's gun is already drawn, pointed at J-Bone's head. Yeah,
and then he has the terrible line of like, do one thing for me, say goodbye.
Yeah. And then J-Bone makes another horrible mistake and he doesn't know who Johnny is. He just shows Johnny where the headquarters is. The secret headquarters. And what is the game plan here, and how did we get this far where everybody is so dumb that everybody's putting each other and themselves in harm's way all the time? If you're fighting against Big Pharma and you find that Pharma's trying to kill a guy because he's also involved with secrets, don't show him where your hideout is. You don't know who this person is.
They're not secrets if you just go and tell everybody all the time.
I guess, yeah. It's mind-numbing. That scene is so stupid. I hate it. But we get a slightly better scene where Johnny confronts Ralphie at his bar. And I love the bathroom scene where Johnny gets knocked out.
Yeah, the one bodyguard Bashes his
Yo
head
Mama.
into the... Pardon?
The name's Yo Mama, played by
That's not
Faulkner
very nice.
Abraham.
Anyway.
Yo Mama throws him headfirst into the stall.
Yeah, and it's like, tell me you didn't hit him in the head. It's like, are you not watching? Clearly, got bashed his head in.
Not on the head. Yeah. Ralphie's revealed as a betrayer, of course. Shocking, because Udo Kier never plays a hero in any regard.
Regardless of the actor, this was not a well-kept secret, even remotely.
Johnny wakes up to find himself tied to a table with Shinji ready to cut his head off. And Jane saves him for $50,000, and they escape into the sewers with the help of the Low-Techs because Jane hung around with them when she was a child.
I did like her negotiation as she's like on top of Keanu. She's got her knife drawn. They're all kind of like at a standstill. He's like, I'll give you 20 grand. She's like, 50, deal. And they're doing this in the heat of the moment, and it's actually like a very well done scene.
It is very well done. She drops from the vent, the air vent, down onto the table where he's tied up. And I love her little like whip knife thing. Like that long metal whip with a blade on the end. It's brilliant.
It reminds me of like the pointers that teachers used to use.
Yes,
before,
exactly. Very good.
Laser
very
pointers.
good.
But with a knife on the end.
And after this, we get Ralphie's death. What did you think of that?
I have so many problems with this scene. I don't know if you really want to ask me.
I do, because I like it. It is problematic, but basically frustrated Shinji uses his thumb laser thing to slice Ralphie diagonally twice, and his body just kind of slides off in slivers. But okay, let's hear your problem.
Okay, well, first problem is Keanu has them backed up against a wall at gunpoint and doesn't fire.
Yeah.
There's no reason for him to show restraint at this point. They've already tried to kill him multiple times.
Don't wait for my response, man. I'm with you.
All right. Secondly, Shinji tries to, like, I guess, hit the door that gets slammed shut. And Ralphie's like, oh, be careful. You could have killed me. And then only, like, 30 seconds later proceeds to kill him.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, as soon as he said you could have killed me, Shinji should have just been like, you mean like this? And then killed him. There's no reason to, like, build up this potential, oh, yeah, he's still going to be alive.
There is one good thing about this scene, and that is the removal of Ralphie from the story. Because after this point, you don't need him anymore. I think from a story writing stance, this is a perfect way to get rid of a character that's no longer necessary.
So then do it the way that I described, which makes Shinji just look that much more, like, remorseless.
No, I'm not saying how the scene plays out. I'm saying it's a perfect time to ditch this character. He served his purpose.
Oh, yeah.
It's one of the few good things I'm going to say about it.
Yeah, that part I'm fine with.
Yeah. Synaptic seepage fucks up Johnny in the sewers. That's pretty much that. Takahashi's watching videos of his daughter when a ghostly apparition takes over the screen, warning him that the company sees him as a risk and Shinji is planning against him. What the courier carries is something that can change his life.
This AI sure knows a heck of a lot.
Yes. Which is explained, though. It is. It totally is. No, there's no about it, man. Like, it is. It straight up fucking is later in the movie. No. Also, Takahashi's an idiot. He's so dumb through the entire thing. And he's supposed to be the owner? But not really?
Quick question.
Yeah.
Who in this movie's not an idiot?
Jones. Spider. Spider's pretty smart.
Okay, yeah. Look at where you've had to resort to.
An animal and the former singer of Black Flag.
There you go.
Yeah, okay, you made your point.
Essentially, not any of the main characters.
No. Johnny explains to Jane that to make room for the implant, he had to dump all of his childhood memories. Okay. It's an interesting idea. And this is the shitty acting that everyone made fun of Keanu for, though. Like, it's bad. His acting is really bad in this scene.
Wasn't he nominated for a Razzie for this movie?
Yeah. They break into a computer store so Johnny can find out where the scientists were faxing his info. A coffee shop in Newark. Who knew? Irk. He can only find the name Dr. Alcom, and the fax never made it. I'm going to be a stereotypical dude here and say that Dina Meyer looks fucking amazing from this point on in the movie and is outclassing Keanu Reeves in every scene they're in together.
I just can't do it with this scene, man, and I think you know why.
The CG?
I mean,
amazing CGI?
This is what the internet is. The people who made this movie definitely weren't plugged in.
Is that the first pun you've done or the first one I've caught?
I don't even know, dude.
Okay. Even him like trying to get in touch with his hacker buddy who gets hit with a virus. It just the Strike. That's his name, Strike. He's terrible. But we do get another plot dump.
Pointless character.
Yeah. Well, I think that's why, because we're just supposed to use it to find out that the data Johnny has is super important and it's Pharmacom info.
You know, I can figure that just based on the fact that the entire Yakuza is after him.
Yes. Sent after him by Pharmacom. Get rid of the scene. And the same ghostly woman apparition appears and warns Johnny that the Yakuza are coming for him, so they escape. Convenient. Takahashi learns of Shinji's failure to catch Johnny again, so he contacts the street preacher. Dolph Lundgren is absolutely amazing in this movie.
We talked about how intimidating he looked in Universal Soldier. That was a completely different direction, but he looks pretty damn intimidating in this too.
Oh, you set him up as jacked up, crazy as fuck Jesus? He's never looked more intimidating.
I had to rewind it a few times, but I swear Takahashi, after he tells him that he'll triple the fee if he gets it done in 24 hours, says, "Dolph, don't let me down." And I didn't check like a script or anything or like a transcript, but I rewound it like 3 times. I don't know if it's his accent that he was trying to say something else, but I swear it sounded like he said, "Dolph, don't let me down."
Acting. That's great. Did you watch any of the deleted scenes from the movie?
No.
They're not really important, neither here nor there, except for one, which I really enjoyed. And it's a scene of the street preacher giving a sermon to his followers in a church. And it makes him look less like a lone nutcase and more like a deranged, dangerous cult leader.
I don't like that.
I loved it.
I like the idea of him seeming like a lone nutcase.
Really?
Yeah.
It just gave his character so much more depth because he does not get a lot of screen time.
No, he is sadly underused in this.
Definitely. I don't know even why they bothered to get him. I mean, like, I love the fact that he's in this movie, but it's such a minor character. It seems weird that it's something he would have taken.
And it's a character that wasn't even in the book.
Yeah, I don't remember him in the book, so that okay.
He's not.
Perfect.
He's not. They made him for this movie, and it's like, if you're going to add a character for the movie and clearly change it, why not make him more prominent?
Yeah. Also, how much research did you do for this? Did you read the book?
I am very familiar with the book. In fact, even Spider was made up for the movie.
Okay, like I said, I haven't read the book in a long time. When did you read this?
I've read it a number of times, but most prominently... So I took a fiction and film course when I was in university, and the idea behind the course was that we only studied writings that were both done as a writing and then done a movie version. So we read, Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep, and we watched Blade Runner. We read Johnny Mnemonic and watched Johnny Mnemonic. We read Frankenstein and watched Frankenstein. And in that situation, I didn't just watch the movie and read the book. I had to do essays and presentations on it.
That's amazing. That sounds like such a fun course.
Oh yeah, that course was a blasty blast.
except for Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep?
I mean, it was still an interesting thing to study. It just
for
really
sure.
was.
But they're so very different.
They are, but yeah. I mean, a big part of it is seeing how these stories got manipulated and watered down and then expanded on to make movie versions.
Yeah. I'm surprised you didn't cover We Can Remember It For You wholesale.
No, I don't remember exactly all of the movies, but we only did, I think it was 5 during the semester because there was very in-depth like essays and presentations after each one.
Yeah.
But
that's amazing. I hope that still exists.
I don't know, man. Got to look it up on the Laurier course website.
All right. Well, we'll get back into this, but that's great to hear. Yeah, I think you know more about the story than I do. That's nice.
Well, I mean, that's how I tell you that Jane wasn't a character in the book. It was Molly. And Molly was so much more badass.
Johnny arranges a meeting with Pharmacom to get the data out of his head, which seems like the dumbest possible thing you could do.
I love how the meeting he sets up is with the most generic suited white man ever.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, this guy is not a real person.
No. Which was a nice reveal, too, though.
But it wasn't, because it was very predictable. I'm like, this is not, he's not talking to a real person.
Yeah.
This is not, no.
It was a weird contact to have, like a weird introduction for a character that is a pivotal contact point.
They don't even give him a name.
No. Jane goes into convulsions from NAS and convinces Johnny that Spider can help both of them. And my next note just says, I love Henry Rollins.
Yeah, Henry Rollins is great.
He's so good as Spider. And his rant about the cause of NAS, which is basically technology, fantastic. But I wish he went deeper into it because there's a major critique here that's still relevant today, I think, 1 year after this movie. But it's great, and he doesn't go deep enough into it. They give a man who's known for prolonged ranting a massive topic, and they only give him like 4 sentences to deal with it.
Yeah. Although, like you said, and to reinforce it, not to make it sound like I'm bringing up my own point, I love that he essentially says that what's killing people by giving them NAS is the technology, but they willingly won't get rid of it because they can't live without it.
Yep. Still true today. I mean, I never really thought about it. Yeah, it probably is. But I never really thought about it at the time because the technology that we were dependent on in 95 was what?
I don't know.
It was just like telephones, sure. TV.
Fax machines. Mini discs. Look at the movie. That's what we were relying on.
Okay, yeah. How many people had like mini discs and fax machines in 1995?
Well, considering how quickly mini discs went obsolete, I'd say not many.
Yeah. But like, I don't know. I don't think a lot of the people suffering from NAS in this movie had any accessibility to like advanced technology. That could just be me and not understanding the world. But I think that's a reach at best. Street Preacher, full of his body implants, is on the hunt.
Okay. I hate this.
Which part?
The part that they imply multiple times how he's just completely fitted with implants.
It's more implant than human.
Yeah. Like the low-techs reference it when they see him. Was it Spider? I can't remember. But anytime they bring it up, they're essentially saying that this guy will just work for any money to keep himself stocked in implants. But at no point does this character seem to function as if he has implants.
Good point. He is very strong, though.
Yeah, but you don't need implants for that. You're just a big, jacked guy.
Yeah, but multiple times we see him basically controlling another person with one arm. So I get that he's doing it for strength. But it doesn't really fit with the character.
Well, I mean, this guy has been injecting himself with muscle enhancers since the 90s and not getting a haircut.
Can you imagine if Street Preacher's name in this was Andrew Scott?
Yeah, that would be great.
That would be great.
And one of the parts of his garb is that they rip off his robe and he's just got a necklace of ears.
Oh my God. It could work. It really could work. See, I like Street Preacher, and now you make me Wish he was better.
You should always strive for better, sir.
We get the reveal that the apparition is Anna Kallman, founder of Pharmacom, and she died years ago, but her conscious was uploaded to the Pharmacom neural net, and she currently advises the board in this form. Okay. Who the fuck is Takahashi then? I ask you again.
I don't know, man. This whole thing is ass backwards.
How is he so high up and has no idea who this person is then?
Who's this woman that's telling him this information?
She died 6 years ago.
Well,
Everybody knows who she is. She takes advice from the higher ups. Who is Takahashi?
I don't know. I don't know.
Okay. We shift gears and go back to Spider and his hostility with Just Johnny. I loved that back and forth.
Yeah. What's your name? Johnny. Johnny what? Just Johnny.
All right, Just Johnny. Street Preacher takes out Hooky the bartender. His hand anyway. In a scene that was done much better in Jason X.
I haven't seen Jason X, I can tell you that. But
yeah, okay. You will. Hooky gives up Jane's location and Spider's name and history about him being like an actual doctor in the past. Spider scans Johnny's head, revealing the severity of Johnny's condition. The weird thing is here that Johnny asks about Dr. Alcom and Spider sidesteps it completely. And I get it, it's for like a reveal later on, but don't include the scene then. It's not that important.
I think it's even worse when Rollins essentially implies he'll take him to Dr. Alcom. Knowing full
that's
well
a good point.
There is no Dr. Alcom. It's like, what, you just wanted to show him this hospital?
Yeah. Also, the hospital. Did you recognize that?
No, I didn't recognize that.
It's Grand Hall, Union Station in Toronto.
I try not to
noticed
go
it
to
immediately.
Toronto. I don't know.
Okay, that's fine. Fine. I guess you have no reason to be there. I spent a lot of time there. Anyway, Spider agrees to take them to somebody else who can help and have a slight encounter with Street Preacher, but they escape.
Well, I mean, Spider's vehicle has a slight encounter with Street Preacher.
Yeah, they smack him pretty good.
Yeah, he just walks it off.
Rubs some dirt on it. Yeah, put some dirt on it, walk it off. They arrive at what looks like an NAS crisis center. Hundreds of people suffering in the black shakes. This is, Union Station, I was saying before. But this is where Johnny again demands to see Dr. Alcom, and Spider finally admits that's a code they use for when the shit hits the fan and they don't want to spook the patients. As in, Dr. All come to Ward 7.
Yeah, it's bad.
I liked it. What's bad about that? I thought it was great.
I don't know. Just didn't like it.
Okay.
At least don't spell it the same. Maybe just make it ALCOME.
It doesn't matter how it's written. It's about how it's pronounced.
Okay, fine. I'm not allowed to have an opinion.
No, we've already established this.
Oh, well.
Turns out that the facts that the Pharmacom scientists were sending was meant for the resistance. I like that little bit. I wish we spent more time with that. Spider tries to hack into Johnny's implant, but it fails. The alternative method is crude removal, which would almost render Johnny to a vegetative state. The important info here is that he's discovered that the data Johnny is carrying is the cure for NAS.
Yeah, this entire reveal and moral dilemma that they've put on Johnny's shoulders wasn't in the book.
Yeah. I can honestly say, when I first watched the movie, I did not see that coming, and I like it. I like the idea that everything is actually fully linked, because this movie is pretty loose with story. And for some reason, the content of the data Johnny was carrying never really crossed his mind. I know he said he tried not to look at it when questioned about it by Jane earlier, but you got to know it's big. You got to know it's important.
Well, I think he's got that it's big, but there's almost like an implication that once it's in his head, he can't look at it.
Well, he said he could.
Did he?
Yeah, he mentioned the codes to encrypt it, but he's saying he just didn't want to.
I thought the codes were to like decrypt and download, not to access. I didn't think he could like sit there and close his eyes and see the data.
Well, he implies that maybe at an earlier time he could have.
Yeah, like when the
But
download is taking place, he could pay attention to what it is, but he chooses not to.
We next get one of the cheesiest and one of my most favorite scenes where Street Preacher shows up and attacks. And do you catch the line he yells as he's attacking? He it's like him bursting through the curtains and down the walkway if he was a wrestler.
No.
Did you catch that? No, he just says, "That cure is mine."
Oof.
It's so bad. It's so fucking bad. I love it.
Oh, he should have just said, "Rip him."
Give the little hand sign. Spider attacks the preacher to allow Jane and Johnny to escape, yelling at them to go see Jones. Spoiler, Spider doesn't make it, Sandro.
Really? I wouldn't have thought that, when Spider's van couldn't take the guy out, that Spider had a chance.
No, Spider just gets crucified on lab equipment.
Yeah.
Johnny makes a plan with Puppet Hand Pharmacom Man to meet the bridge on Landfill 5.
That's okay. All right.
It's so dumb.
That's more of a name that he actually has.
Puppet Hand Pharmacom Man?
Yeah, Puppet Hand Pharmacom Man. And then also, why are main characters of movies always you want to meet on an unmarked pier somewhere? That doesn't seem like a trap. Sure thing.
Yeah, I know. He's like, we're going to meet at the bridge on Landfill 5. You're like, I don't want to go to a dump. How about we meet on a street or in a parking lot? I just don't want to walk through garbage.
Yeah.
I just don't. Why would you do that? Is this a smart move? Involving the low-techs without their knowledge?
And just make sure that when you go through this dump, that you're wearing your suit.
That's a good point.
You won't stand out there at all.
Anna, again, tries to rationalize with Takahashi, but he has none of it. And cutting her off as she's saying, he's carrying the cure, seems like an odd choice to end things there. I'd be like, cure? Cure for what? What you got?
Oh, the disease that I'm not familiar with because my daughter died from it?
I don't know anything. I just run this business.
Yeah,
that has the cure. At the bridge, Johnny finally shows he has a conscience, kinda. He inquires about who Jones is, and Jane just says he was in the Navy. And this is just an odd example of specifically keeping the audience in the dark for a reveal, and I don't like that. It's like a smack in the face. We don't need that. We don't need that at all. We don't need him to be like, who's Jones? All we need to know is he's like, okay, Jones can get this shit out of my head, fine. So saying he's in the Navy, blah, blah, blah. And when you get the review, they're like, that was a cheeky line. No, it's fucking stupid. I didn't like it. I'm assuming by your silence, you disagree.
I don't care.
Okay. That's fine. And that's a great example too, because it's pointless. It's just filler.
I mean, we get a watered down version of Jones here too.
Okay. Sandra, the low-techs. They accidentally drop a car bomb.
Not accidentally. The one says, I'm going to drop a bug.
Yeah. But I thought they accidentally bump it, the first time that happened. Because from what I remember, one guy said he was going to do it, and the other guy talked him out of it because of J-Bone.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
But my concern...
at some point, there was an intent to drop this thing.
Yeah, okay, that's fine. I'll go with you on that. But the problem I have with it is this their main defense?
Yes.
It's only effective if the enemy is directly below the car.
You know what else bothers me? These are the two guys you have watching guard?
They're all idiots. They are all idiots. Every low-tech except for J-Bone, who also has his issues. They're all dumb as shit. It doesn't make sense how they could create heaven in their headquarters. It doesn't. Dude, I don't know. I don't even know how to complain about it. It's just so dumb.
You got this, man. You got this.
No. What I've got is the following bit, and that's Johnny's rant. And I just have listed terrible acting. So I have the rant here. I'm not going to emote it. I'm just going to read it.
Oh, so you're going to do it like Johnny did.
Exactly. But no,
see what I did there?
He repeats the line, "What the fuck is going on? All my life, I've been careful to stay in my own corner." That's not true. You're getting into other people's shit, as a mnemonic courier does. Looking out for number one, no complications. Also a lie. That's one of the most complicated jobs you can fucking have. Now, suddenly, I'm responsible for the entire fucking world, and everybody and his mother is trying to kill me. No, but okay. He says, if my head doesn't blow up first. Yeah, that's your fault. And Jane says, maybe it's not just about you anymore. Voice of reason. Perfect. Johnny's comeback is, listen. You listen to me. You see that city over there? Pointing to the dumpster fire that is Newark. That's where I'm supposed to be. Nobody wants to be there. Not down here with the dogs and the garbage and the fucking last month's newspapers blowing back and forth. I've had it with them. I've had it with you. I've had it with all this. And then screams, I want room service. It's not really high demand. I don't understand the importance. I want the club sandwich. I want the cold Mexican beer. I want a $10,000 a night hooker. I want my shirts laundered like they do at the Imperial Hotel in Tokyo. Now, I ask you, Sandro.
Yes, sir.
These wants, the cost does not really seem to make sense. Room service, not that expensive. The club sandwich. How much does a club sandwich cost in 2021? I want the cold Mexican beer. That's doable. Most of us can get that. I want a $10,000 a night hooker is quite the leap.
Okay, yes. But in the defense of the movie here, I think the implication is that this is a dystopian society at this point.
Well,
it's
yes.
possible that, a cold Mexican beer is not something that they can get anymore.
That's fine. Address it earlier so the complaint makes sense.
Okay, fair enough.
Because what this entire rant does, despite showing Keanu Reeves' limited acting talent, is makes Johnny even more unlikable.
Yeah, no, he's not likable at any point in this movie.
And really, this character, it seems like Keanu just wanted to take the blue pill 4 years before The Matrix came out. He just wanted to go back to pretending that everything was fine and didn't want anything to do with the real world. And you're like, okay, so our protagonist is a giant, whiny coward who would rather pretend than experience the grittiness and honesty of life.
Correct.
Okay. All right, that. My problem's over then.
All right, then. I'm glad we were able to straighten that out for you.
Thanks, man. Well, finally the elevator's lowered from the bridge. J-Bone takes them to meet Jones. And Johnny has an episode on the lift.
So before they get on the lift, though, there is a part that I liked here.
Okay.
Where they mention that Spider sent them. And J-Bone asks, well, where is he? And they're like, he's dead. And he turns and looks at the van that's on fire from the bug being dropped on it. And they're like, oh, no, not here. Much earlier. And it's like, that was the most subtle thing, but I really like that.
Yeah.
This movie is almost at its best when it does things subtly.
It is. It 100% is. I thought we were going to bring up is how J-Bone just believes what they say.
Well, yeah, because Spider sent them.
Yeah. How does he know that?
Because they told him.
Exactly. He just takes so much at face value. He's like, yeah, I guess if Spider said it, that's true then.
No, he seems to at least indicate some sort of history, or at least familiarity with Jane. Because like they helped them
Yes.
out earlier when they were trying to get away from the Yakuza as well.
Yeah, and then she drops the line that she spent a lot of time with them when she was a kid. But it's so dumb. It's such a dumb move in a movie that's trying to be so smart. And like I said, Johnny has an episode on the lift. Now, if someone's having a seizure on a fucking lift like that, it's a piece of metal being held by 4 chains. It's swinging for sure. Why hold him upright? Get that man on the floor and hold him down. Because he's going to take everyone out.
I have no response for this.
Because he's going full seizure.
I do not know what to say.
Yeah, I don't know. It's my problem with the low techs. And outside of J-Bone, all the other low techs we see seem like they're high. Like they're just stoners. And this is what's been fighting Big Pharma?
Sounds good.
Okay.
Would make more sense with the version of Jones from the book.
Which I don't remember, but we'll get into Jones in a second, and I want to hear that comparison. Takahashi decides to head to the bridge. Johnny has flashes of his childhood, and we all see where we're going with this, right?
No, where are we going?
Okay, well, the reveal has been hinted throughout the entire runtime. I never missed it in any viewing. We see Heaven, quote-unquote Heaven, the control center of the low-tech headquarters. And now we get the reveal that Jones is a code-breaking dolphin. And before you get into Jones, I just have to say, can somebody please clean that fucking tank?
It's low-tech. It's dystopian. They don't have any Windex.
That poor dolphin. But okay, yeah, please go into Jones.
It's a very minor thing. You're
Okay.
building it up like it's something else, but
I don't remember.
the Jones from the novel, and the reason that he's formerly with the military is because he's a heroin addict.
Oh my god, that's fantastic. I don't remember that at all.
Most of what he does in the book is to feed his heroin addiction.
I love it.
So when you're like, oh yeah, most of them seem like they're high, it's like, well, yeah, if it was the other one, they're all just doing it together.
Why bring the dolphin in?
What do you mean?
That is so good. And that fits in this grimy world. You got nothing?
No, I told you it was a minor thing.
I know, I'm just saying, like, leaving the junky character of Jones in this movie would make this movie better.
Well, yeah, I mean, even a dolphin is resorting to drugs to escape this shithole of a world.
Takahashi and Shinji arrive on scene. Jones works on Johnny's brain, and the low-tech set up broadcast antennas, but the Yakuza invades. More dodgy CG as Jones hacks Johnny's brain, but it doesn't work.
Well, they run out of time.
Yeah. But we get what is possibly the best kill of the movie here, where J-Bone takes out the bazooka-wielding woman with a crossbow bolt to the mouth.
Was that Deb from Empire Records?
I don't think so.
Okay. Tank Girl?
No. I don't...
I'm look up the actress for that.
Yeah, go for it.
Yakuza with rocket launcher. Yeah, no, I was way off.
Yeah. Yeah, I was also trying to figure out who played Pretty, one of Ralphie's bodyguards. And it's Tracy Tweed, who is... It really confused me because I clicked on her name in Wikipedia and it took me to Shannon Tweed, who's married to Gene Simmons. Yeah, exactly. I'm like, is that like... They look a lot alike. Is that...
Well, they're sisters.
Another name? Exactly. I didn't know that. I had to look elsewhere. It's just Wikipedia being Wikipedia. Perfect example. But, yeah, I still thought that was one of the best kills, that crossbow bolt to the mouth. And honestly, we get a decent siege defense battle here. I really enjoyed it. But next is Takahashi and Johnny confronting each other. And I have to say, this is the first time Takahashi's been an intimidating opponent. Because I would never want to get into a fight with a man wielding a gun and a katana.
Why?
I don't know. I don't think I'd do well.
If you're good with the gun, you don't need the katana.
Yeah, I know. But if I have nothing and they have both, I'd be a little intimidated.
Yeah, just toss him the katana, and as he goes to pick it up, shoot him.
Well, what? You're taking this from his stance. I'm taking it from Johnny's perspective. Jerk.
Hey, I'm just trying to figure out who I'm supposed to be rooting for here, man.
Neither of them. They both suck.
Okay.
Anna appears again and finally tells Takahashi that Johnny has the cure for NAS and that Pharmacom had the cure that could have saved his daughter months before she died. Okay. So Shinji shoots Takahashi. Jane's taken captive, but she and Johnny fight back just as more low-techs arrive. And we get a final showdown between Johnny and Shinji. It's honestly, it's more suspense than action. And I like that decision creatively. And I'm thinking because at this point, Keanu Reeves probably can't do much fight choreography. So the fact that a lot of it is them hanging off of that netting from the dumpster above the river, I thought it looked cool. It was just long enough. They didn't wait on it for an extended period of time. And Johnny just uses Shinji's own thumb laser against him, cutting off his head and sending him plummeting to the water below. It was short. It was sweet. It was very well done.
Meh.
Yeah. Okay. Fine.
It honestly, if I'm going to be completely honest with you, felt a little anticlimactic to me.
That's fine because Shinji is a lackluster antagonist that I didn't really care either way. I found him more annoying than anything. I didn't find him to be a threat. But the street preacher returns and utters another fantastic line. I don't know if you caught this one or not. He just bursts in and says, "Jesus time."
It's so bad.
It's great. I'm wondering if Dolph actually had lines. Or they're like, "This is your character." He's like, "All right, Jesus time." The barely alive Takahashi gives Johnny the second image of the code before dying. And Jones, Jane, and Johnny take out the street preacher. And here's the thing. I realized that in this movie, to survive, your name has to begin with J. Because we got Jones, Jane, Johnny, and J-Bone. Okay. Johnny gives J-Bone the second image. And they boot up the power, and Anna takes over the screen again, just as Pharmacom deletes her from their neural net. They hook Johnny back up and loop him through Jones to find the third image and broadcast the cure out to the world. And 90s CG Johnny is... Man, I remember it looking great at the time. It does not hold up like the rest of it. And like we've already covered, the ambition in tech-based movies from the 90s, they should have known better. It's going to look outdated. There's not many that hold up other than things like Jurassic Park, but the technology wasn't the focus of the movie. Johnny finds the third image. It's a still of Anna's face, and the broadcast begins. His childhood memories flood back into his brain, revealing that Anna is actually his mother, and they just leave it at that. It's some serious shit to explore, but we're not going to talk about it ever again. I thought that was absolutely ridiculous. J-Bone looks into the night sky and sees that somehow Pharmacom's headquarters is on fire.
Because it's a movie. Everything sets on fire.
It's off in the distance, and the top levels of the building are just engulfed in flames. It's never addressed how that happens.
I'm surprised you didn't mention that when they were fleeing the computer scene. She uses her grenade, and it explodes.
It's in my notes. I know it's a fire grenade. I know.
But it's also the worst fire CGI, too.
Yeah.
But lately you've been on a tear mentioning the combustibility of grenades.
I know, and I thought I was irritating you with it, and that's why I purposely left it out.
Man,
but oh my god, it looks terrible. So why do they keep doing it? I guess it just looks better on screen, but as you said, this one didn't even look that good.
No, this one definitely looks like somebody just photoshopped some flames on top of the already recorded image. They didn't try to blend it at all.
No. Fucking fire grenades, man. Okay. This is your fault. We're teased with a still living street preacher, and man, I really wanted to see that. I wanted to see this massive implants just start fighting people.
It would have been way too Terminator-like.
It really would have. You're right. But our film ends with Jane, Johnny, and J-Bone looking out into the night sky, fade to black, and roll credits.
Can we talk about one particular thing?
No.
Okay.
What is it?
Where did the data go?
Obviously, it was broadcast, so it doesn't exist anymore. And the implant's just gone from his brain.
So
They covered it, man. He's fine. Everything's back to normal.
this data needs to be downloaded or it'll be corrupt or whatever. It came from a mini disc. But afterwards, you can just broadcast it to the ether and that's fine? Like,
Yeah. The movie doesn't make sense one bit.
and how did he get his memories back? He said that he had to have them removed to make space for the neural capacity.
Yeah, that's a major question is, did they just fucking firewall them or something?
But that doesn't make more space. That
No, I
just
know.
hides it.
No, the logic doesn't make sense.
Okay. All right. Sorry.
No, this is legit, man. Like, there are so many problems with this movie.
Oh, I meant sorry for swearing.
Oh, I didn't even notice.
Okay, good.
You want to talk money?
Okay, yeah.
Budget, $26 million.
Yeah, sure. Whatever.
1995. I mean, yeah, makes sense. Do you want to guess the gross?
I don't know. This movie grossed me out.
That's bad, man. 52.4.
Good for them.
Yeah. The ratings are interesting. IMDb, we're at 5.6 out of 10.
Okay.
For Rotten Tomatoes, the tomato meter, the critics loved this movie and gave it a glowing 18%. And the audience didn't even double that. They gave it 31.
Oh, okay.
I'm torn, but let's get into awards.
Sure. We breezed through those numbers today.
Yeah, well, I think we understand.
All right. Well, what did you have for worst character or performance?
Takahashi, played by Takeshi Kitano. And it's not because of his acting. It's just the character didn't make any sense to me. He was the head of a company, but didn't have any control or knowledge of what the company was doing or what they had. He was hard-headed, repeatedly refused help, and was constantly in mourning. It was just, there were so many elements of the character that could have been really interesting, and instead they just ditched them, and he was boring and uninteresting.
Okay.
You?
I went with Dennis Akiyama as Shinji.
Yeah,
And
that's a good one.
It was a little bit more about the performance in this case than it was the character. I didn't buy this guy as an imposing villainous type character at any point in the movie. It was just his wire, I guess. I don't know. I wasn't feeling it. If you were going to rewrite the book to make this movie, just make the street preacher the main muscle and have him hired earlier on.
100%.
Like, honestly, didn't think this guy was a threat at any point.
He just seemed so bland.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really disappointing. I was going to pick him, but that's why I picked my least favorite character, because it was frustrating with Takahashi how he could have been fantastic and just wasn't.
Yeah, I was torn between the performance and the character because Takahashi is more or less a useless character.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But who's your favorite? Or
I went with Dina Meyer as Jane. Even though this version of the female protagonist, because they didn't even keep the same name, which is almost merciful at this point to try and associate this character with Molly.
That's good. Sorry.
Continue. I mean, in the book, it's Molly that defeats Shinji in a combat arena like a badass.
Yeah.
Not, oh, I cut your head off when you were hanging off of this thing, because, like, she's just... Read the book. She's just so much better. But, that being said, this movie is full of stupid characters and poor performances. She doesn't fit the bill for any of them. Mm-hmm. There are some close seconds for performance in Rollins, Lundgren, even... what was his name again?
I don't know who you're thinking of.
The snaky-looking guy.
Udo Kier.
There you go. You know, if it's a weird name, I'm not going to remember it. but they weren't in the movie enough for me to pick them. But she's actually, again, a neutered version, but a competent character done by a good performance.
Yeah, I also picked Jane. Dina Meyer is absolutely amazing. She was absolutely amazing in Starship Troopers. You give her a character and let her do her thing, and she's going to shine. She's going to outshine everybody. But unfortunately, this was 1995, where you can't have a strong woman character overshadow the dumb male lead. So Keanu had to take that role and be the star. You could make this movie with Jane as the lead, and it would be so much better. Just have like Johnny come in coincidentally into the story, and then it's his plot with her actions leading it. I would be okay with that.
That's definitely more of a feeling in the book, is that she's the protagonist that's protecting just him. He's a plot device almost.
And that's how it should be. He is a dumb, weak character. And she is the exact opposite of that.
Yep.
I do have to say honorable mention to Dolph, the street preacher. He's great.
Well, yeah, him, like I said, him, even Rollins, they did well in what they were given, but again, all right, Spider and Street Preacher were entirely fabricated for the movie version of this. And it shows, because they really didn't have much for them.
Yeah. Which is surprising for Udo Kier and Dolph Lundgren, because they are very well-established actors at this point. Henry Rollins, here and there. So I get that they would use him less, but he's there more than Udo Kier is. Like, Spider's in this a good chunk for a secondary character.
Yeah.
But I would have liked to see him more.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe Dolph just thought, it's a short shoot for me, easy paycheck. I don't know.
Probably. I'm sure he was demanding a fair amount of money, too.
So, not sure.
What
did you have for your favorite or most memorable line?
For me, it stands out because I thought it was one of the funniest lines of the movie. Doesn't really deal with plot or anything, but it's during the scene where Jane is rescuing Johnny from the table.
Okay.
And she drops down onto it on top of him, and one bodyguard, Yo Mama, has a knife to Johnny's neck and just says, "I'll cut his fucking throat, bitch." And Jane goes, "So? Other guy was going to cut his whole head off."
Yeah, that was good.
It was really good.
I actually consider that one as well.
Yeah, it's just funny. And it has the energy from Jane that the movie needed throughout and just didn't have.
Absolutely did not have.
Yeah. What was your pick?
So mine's actually a line from Spider. And I actually don't know why I liked it so much. I just did. When he and Keanu are kind of arguing when they first meet, and Spider agrees to look at him, and he's just like, "Don't be a bigger asshole than you have to. Just get on the table."
Yeah, that's a great one.
I don't know why. It was just really fun, I guess.
And that's Rollins, man. Another guy who no one really thought he was going to be a great actor, but he's great in most roles that you give him. Just let him be himself.
Well, I mean, to compliment him, from what I've seen of the few roles I've seen him in, he just seems to really commit himself, and it shows.
Yeah. If you find yourself with some time, I highly recommend watching He Never Died, because it's Rollins given the lead role of a movie, and it's quite interesting, and I believe very well acted. I'd like to hear your take on it.
If only there was some platform that you could make me watch it and then hear my thoughts about it.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Maybe I'll figure something out.
Yeah, maybe one day.
Yeah.
So
memorable scene.
My memorable scene, and it's actually agreeing with Zero Valen, who commented on our last video when we revealed that we were going to do this movie, indicating that it was also the favorite scene, is Keanu's rant about the room service and the prostitutes. And I know it's poorly acted, but it's memorable. Whether it's for a good or a bad reason, it's definitely memorable. And I mean, the idea behind it, of this character who through his job, has essentially lived a more pampered life that's been almost segregated from the dystopian existence of the other section of society.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, it could have been done so well, but it's definitely my memorable scene.
Cool, man. I get what you're saying. I'm sure a lot of people would agree with you, but
I don't know how many of them would necessarily agree with me in that I liked it the most because of its potential and not its execution.
No, well, I think it's very blatant in that scene that it's acted poorly, but what's being said could be done very well.
Mm-hmm.
But I also think for that scene to really have an impact, you have to build up the character more throughout the story. And that's why my most memorable scene is the hotel scene at the beginning, because it does set up a story, a really cool story that falters along the way. It had like a wicked action scene. It dealt with futuristic tech in their world anyway. They had so many people in the scene. You were constantly trying to like look at everybody and try and figure out what their roles were. Odd use of Demon City Shinjuku in the back for the anime that's playing, but it's just, they threw so much at you all at once that it was a great way to cause what could have been a chaotic action-packed movie. And it just slowly died after that for me. So whenever I think Johnny Mnemonic, I just think the hotel scene, because you get Johnny, you get the tech, you get Shinji's laser thumb wire thing. It sets up a lot that never really delivers.
The random female, I don't know if it's supposed to be a bodyguard, that jumps on the one guy. It's like, and just here's all these scientists with guns who are doing nothing, and at least she's trying. Yeah.
I know, it's just a memorable scene. I really enjoyed it. I mean, there are other memorable scenes, but this one sticks out most for me.
Okay. Well, I guess it's time to go over our final thoughts on the movie. I mean, I kind of get the idea, but Ben, where are you on this one?
I really wanted to like this movie. I remember liking it years ago, but I just don't. I feel really bad about it because you look at the cast, it should be great. You look at the writer, it should be great. You look at the director, and you're like, oh, I understand why this isn't great. I don't know what happened. It can't just be poor writing and poor acting. It's missing so much, and I can't really identify what it is. There are some entertaining scenes, but I'm not going to go up to anybody and be like, oh, you should totally watch Johnny Mnemonic. I'd be like, have you seen it? And if they say yeah, I'll joke about it. But if they say no, I'm changing the topic immediately. There's nothing worth talking about in the film other than like you and me having been, forced to watch it. But there's no way I could actually recommend this to anybody. The book, you've made me want to reread the book. I'm excited for that because I do still have it here somewhere. But honestly, I'm glad I don't own this movie. Oh, fuck. I think I own it on VHS. I'm going to burn that. And I think I'm good without watching Johnny Mnemonic again. How are you feeling?
So I hate this movie.
Yeah.
When you told us last week that we were going to be watching it, you almost kind of gave this impression that I was going to enjoy it.
Because I thought I was.
Pardon?
I thought I was going to enjoy it too.
Oh, well, now you're wrong twice.
Yes, I was wrong.
So, continue. I have not liked this movie for a very long time, and it really does go back even to when I did it in my course at Laurier. Don't watch this movie. And especially don't watch this movie if you've read the far superior, actually good book, which is how my course was structured. The first 4 days of the week, we had to read the book and talk about it. The last day of the week, we watched the movie, and then we went into all the assignments. Watching this movie, or reading this book, and then watching it, made me realize this is a terrible movie against all other criteria. And I don't recommend it to anybody. In fact, I would recommend just read the book and then don't watch the movie ever.
On that point, how did William Gibson write the book, write the story, and this screenplay? How?
I don't know. I do not know how. Like, if it was entirely another writer, then I could see how this movie exists. But I can't imagine the original writer of the short story, who did a fantastic job, could contribute to this screenplay and think, yeah, that's a good representation of my work.
Like, somebody must have come in later and doctored it or something. Something. It's a shame. I hate it.
Yeah, me too.
That's our final thoughts on Johnny Mnemonic. We hate it.
Yes. If you guys want to share your thoughts with us, you can hit us up on social media. As I mentioned earlier, we are on Twitter at BS Bargain Bin. We are on Facebook.com/BSBargainBin. You can head to bsbargainbin.com or leave a comment in the YouTube section under the video. I have a feeling that there's going to be a lot of people that will respond to us that they do not agree with us, more on nostalgia than anything else. Mm-hmm. And I urge those people, if you do fondly remember the movie and want to criticize us for our thoughts, rewatch the movie, and I think you're going to be on our side.
We could be going to war here, man.
Nah, I'm not dying on this hill.
Okay.
Ben.
Yeah, bud.
That was a disappointment.
I'm sorry. It really was.
Please tell me that for next week, you're going to save me from that disappointment.
Oh, yeah. There's no worries there. I have to make up for this week. So next week, we're going to be covering, which oddly enough is not our first film directed by Wes Craven and written by Kevin Williamson. We're going to be covering 1996 slasher, I guess, neo-slasher, Scream.
Hello?
Hello?
Who is this?
You tell me your name, I'll tell you mine.
I don't think so.
What's that noise?
Popcorn.
You making popcorn?
Well, I'm getting ready to watch a video.
Really? What?
Oh, just some scary movie.
You like scary movies?
Uh-huh.
You never told me your name.
Why do you want to know my name?
I want to know who I'm looking at.
Someone is playing a deadly game.
It all began with a scream over 911.
Someone who's seen one too many scary movies. Now, he's taken his love of fear.
Hello?
Hello, Sydney.
One step too far.
Do you like scary movies?
What's the point? They're all the same. Some stupid killer stalking some big-breasted girl who can't act, who's always running up the stairs when she should be going out the front door. It's insulting.
There are certain rules that one must abide by in order to successfully survive a scary movie. Number one, you can never have sex.
Hey, this me.
Never, ever, ever, under any circumstances say, I'll be right back. Because you won't be back. Get another beer, you want one? Yeah, sure. I'll be right back!
He didn't make the rules.
The police are always off track. If they watch prom night, they'd save time.
He just kills by them. Don't answer the phone. Don't open the door. Don't try to hide.
Everybody's a suspect!
You're not scared, are you?
Scream.
Until next week, have a good one.
All the best.